Hello, everybody, and welcome. I'm Jessica Abernathy, and with me today is Trisha Montgomery, and you are listening to Pets Are Family.
Hi, Trisha.
Hi, Jessica.
Hey, look at the halo.
I love the halo. Look at me. It looks like I've got a beanie I'm taking off. Woo, woo.
Oh my God, that's like from Spanky, or is it Spanky, right?
I don't know what's happening here. So my computer completely went kaput today. So I had to run to Best Buy and to purchase a new computer. And now that computer will not be ready with all my stuff on it until 4 days. And so I'm operating off of my Mac. I know. I am losing my mind. Not that it hasn't lost already, but I had to get a brand new computer. And
and I was like, and you hate your Mac. I love Apple. You do not.
I hate I have it for I travel and conferences and things like that. But it's just a pain. It is a royal pain. And I am so not a fan of it. But
I live off my Apple. I have 2 Apple laptops, and I live off of them. I don't even have a desktop. Don't care for one.
Well, I have one screen and so I've got my screen and I've got my iPhone right over here, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I can't see anything, but it's all good, all good. So we are, we're wrapping up February with some really cool guests. We're going to have an incredible woman. Actually, we had interviewed before and just things didn't work out for timing and things like that. But we're having Mindy Dukta from Dogs I Meet on with us. And she is just an incredible photographer. And her pictures are just absolutely beautiful. And she uses her photography skills for good. So let's bring her on. I am really excited to talk to Mindy.
All right, let me go get her.
Mindy, welcome to Pets Are Family podcast. Gosh, it is so good to see you. So good to have you on our show today. And we tried this before. I think we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Jessica and I did. And for some reason, recording whatever it was, it just didn't take properly. So we're doing a little bit of a redo, but we're so excited to have you on. Mindy, welcome.
Thank you. And I am very excited to be on and talking with both of you as well.
Yeah, for sure. Mindy, so I'm just going to start out. Tell us a little bit about you and Dogs I Meet and how you really got into that.
Okay, I'll try and make it a short story because it's a little bit of a long story. But
Days, don't worry about
I have
it.
many chapters and many iterations of my career. I've done many different things, and I finally reached a point where I said, I really want to do something that I'm passionate about. And I had always lifelong dog lover, and also always loved photography. And I'm like, what could I do? And then I was Googling, and I was like, it looks like people are pet photographers. I'm going to do that. And then it became a journey. I think it's 7 years now that I'm doing it. And I've learned so much. And there's so much, I want to say, power in being able to capture dogs' stories through the lens of my camera for so many different reasons. So it's just been super fulfilling. I do portrait photography for families. I work for brands, and I do photography for them. I do quite a bit of work for animal welfare. And recently, I'm very focused on bridging that gap between animal welfare and brands, because the pet market is so huge now, hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars. And there should be a connection. It's the dogs that are driving the brands and the dollars. So we should be able to be using some of those dollars to help the animals. So I have a bunch of different projects and brand activations that I do, mixing shelter dogs and animal welfare and getting brands to get really behind supporting them.
Yeah, Mindy, I love that about you, and you've always
Mhm.
done your work for good, and that I think that inspires others to see you and what you're doing and how you're dedicating that, and the resources that you have, and that's got to inspire you on a daily basis, just doing that and working for good. When you look at photographing pets, are you just dogs? Or you got some cats hidden back there? Are you just dogs? Cats are meow or what?
No, I do cats, and I feel kind of bad, people always say that. But
I
I
know.
have photographed cats. I actually just did a fabulous project with Paws for Patrick.
Yeah, I
And
know.
it was about a cat that's an emotional support animal.
Oh.
So I do cats. It's just that, dogs are out and about and much more interactive than cats,
Mhm.
but I will photograph cats as well. Actually,
Mhm.
I've done a lot of work for a veterinarian hospital, so I've not only photographed cats, I photographed skunks, I photographed lizards, I photographed snakes.
Oh, okay. Wait a minute. We
Okay,
gotta go.
wait. Skunks?
Skunks
I
I
mean, like,
meet.
yeah, skunks. That
We're
that
changing
I
the name to Skunks I Meet.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Skunks. And I have a funny story about the skunk. Was that it was a special skunk. It was de-skunked, descented, however you call it. And one of the vet techs, you have to have a special permission to have a skunk as a pet. And she did, because she uses the skunk for educational purposes and brings the skunk into schools and teaches. So had the skunk, and it was part of what I was photographing, and it was very domesticated and loving. And I should pull up a picture with her. And I tend to, when I'm photographing, I just get in the zone, and that's all I see is the animal in front of me and the camera. And I went without thinking to move the skunk's little paw in a certain way, and it bit me. And
No. Oh, no.
and I'm like, I'm probably like, what? I can't believe I got bit by a skunk. So
Oh my goodness
it bit me on
gracious.
my finger, the finger that I had like 3 days of shooting to go for that shot. And
Did they have to do a rate? Did they have to do anything special from a
no,
shot?
because it had, because it was a domestic skunk, and it had its shots and everything. I did have to take I took an antibiotic just to be on the
Mhm.
safe shot side, and I'd had a tetanus shot, so it was fine. But you brought up skunks, and yeah, I'm pretty fearless when it comes to who I'm photographing.
Yeah. Wow,
You want
that's
to
a
hear something
whole
funny?
Yeah.
But wait. What's really funny is that when I got Teddy's my little Shih Tzu, right? And his name before I got him, because I got him at 18 months. His name was Skunk. That's what they named him, because when he was born, he's all black, but I guess he had a little white stripe when he came out on the top of his head.
oh my God.
So they named him Skunk, and that's what they called him. And I was like, I got him, and they're like, his name is Skunk. And I'm like, I cannot open my back door and yell, Skunk, Skunk. I was like, I was not gonna do that in
Why
Chicago.
not?
That's
I was
funny.
like, I was like, I had to rename him. I mean, instantly, I was like, the poor dog is getting renamed.
I bet he learned his new name in 10 minutes. It was like, see ya, skunk. I'm Teddy now.
Oh my God.
So it's
That's
really funny. Yeah, because the people that I got him from, they always call me up every once in a while. They're like, how's Skunk doing? I'm like, Teddy's doing fine.
Well, in follow up to that, Mindy, so from skunks to dogs to cats, lizards, I don't know, alpacas, who knows? They all have different personalities. So how do you, when you're photographing, how do you approach each of these pets or animals, to give that essence that you're trying to capture? If I said that right.
You did. Well, in particular, when I have a lot of time and it's a pet portrait. First of all, I'll speak to the humans and get some information about the dog. I ask a lot of questions. I have a questionnaire. So I have a sense even before that I've met the dog, and I never jump right in to photographing, because the dog, yes, exactly. Dogs need to warm up. You're making me crack up. But It's all about being on the dog's time. It is really what it is. And if you think about it from their perspective, I have a really long lens, and you put it up mostly to your face, or you're leaning down with the flip screen now. Either way, that's what they see. That's scary to them.
Yeah.
They're not even seeing your face. They don't know what that is. So I don't start photographing right away. I don't start with the camera. I take time to get a sense of the dog, for the dog to get a sense of me. It's very helpful when they're food motivated. The dogs that are not food motivated are a little more tricky.
Okay.
But I will sit with them, and I'll usually I have the treats, and I'll put my camera next to me, and I'll click. I'm not really taking pictures, but I'll click so they hear the click, and I'll give them a treat. And I'll condition them for a while so that they're kind of excited now when the camera clicks. That, it means that they're going to get a treat. And sometimes, that process may be super quick. Sometimes it could be 20 minutes, half hour. If it's a really, really shy dog, sometimes I'll just sit there with the treat next to me until the dog comes up to me. So, it's really all about on the dog's time. The other thing is that I don't think people realize it's very hard work for dogs to be photographed, to be modeled. They're thinking, they're taking direction, they're, asked to stand still or sit or this or that. So I give a lot of breaks when I'm photographing them.
Right.
And mostly that, I also think animals just, they have a sense. They definitely, I do have a little bit of a dog whisperer in me. If I, they immediately, I was photographing some dogs. They were in a person's, it was a large yard, and there was like 3 or 4 of them. And as I was going out, they're like, oh, they probably won't come near you. And, I don't know if they're going to behave. And they were more like, they weren't dogs that you would put on a leash. And in 2 seconds, the dogs were like, hey, hi, how you doing? And they were like, oh, okay. The other thing is a dog that's very shy or whatever, I'll adjust the lens that I use. So if I know a dog, particularly even, let's say it's in the shelter or anything, a dog that's shy, I'll use a very long lens so I don't have to be in their space, and I can still get the photos I want. So there's a lot of different tips and tricks to working around a dog's comfort level and personality.
Yeah.
That's
Oh my
cool.
gosh. I wonder how you can, you get a lizard to sit, like, here, I got a treat for you. I don't know. Question. So I know anytime that I have tried to take a picture of any dogs, they're unpredictable at best. I mean, when I'm like, let's take a picture, let's do this, they'll like immediately like look away, or they'll look down or they'll move. How do you manage that? Can you share like something funny that happened, and how do you manage that?
So it's partially managing the humans. It's very helpful when I have someone that's behind me as well as someone that's wrangling the dog. Okay.
Right.
I ask the people, I ask them to please just let me do the cues, because it's super distracting. Like even if you're trying to get it and there are 3 people and they're calling, his spot, like that just causes a lot of confusion. So basically, and I'll try to have somebody right behind me.
Yep.
Exactly. And it's amazing how many times I have to be like, no, over here, like trying to get it. And usually they're holding up a treat or something. I'm surprised I don't have one. I have them all over the house, but the squeakers, that's kind of like my secret go-to, is that I'll keep a squeaker where they can't see it. And when I'm ready, I'm all ready. You got to be fast, and you're going for the eye for your focus on the dog. And I'll squeak once, and usually that's enough to get them to look at me. And sometimes some of them give you that cute head tilt, but people tend to like squeak, 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 squeak. Just once. If you do a noise too often, they won't respond to it.
No.
as well. So wait, hold on a second. You're going to laugh at this. This is my beautiful jewelry.
I'm just laughing because
Lost
Teddy is
in
that
the
dog that would not, he'd be like, I don't care what you're
Oh
giving
my
me.
God.
So these are all different noisemakers, depending on how sensitive the dog is, how not. I'll try different ones, so I'll be able to sort of grab their attention. And again, it's also a lot about just being ready, because I might have to take 25 shots, or more, to get that one shot where they looked at me the way, that I needed them to. So there's
I
tremendous
love
patience
that.
involved.
Cautions, which is not a virtue of mine. I can imagine, especially because I know it's almost akin to like sit, sit, sit. But using that same thing, they're not going to respond. And I can see like a whole family standing behind you, going, "Hey, come here, over here." Look, something like that. So yeah,
Right.
I can totally see that. I think probably Jessica's done that a time or two.
And
No,
then
Teddy's just, yeah, Teddy's that dog that, I mean, we didn't pass basic training because he just, nothing. I mean, nothing, not even the high value treats, nothing works with him. Like the photographs you're talking about, nothing. Mommy is it. You know what I mean? You could do whatever you want. He's going to walk past you and he's going to sit next to me. He does not care what you want. He
so
is,
probably in a case like that, I would
doesn't
put
care.
you in the photo, right?
Yeah.
And
Doesn't
maybe
care about
not
you.
necessarily, maybe you don't want to be in the photo, right?
Yeah,
So
my
there's
legs are being it.
that's a signature shot of mine with
Right.
the dog with the
Yep.
feet. Okay, that's one, because a lot of people don't want to be in the photo, but ultimately you may not want some giant photo of you in your living room, but you want something showing, that connection
Right.
that you have as a memory. So that signature shot of the dog by the feet, it winds up very like artistic. You're there, you see the connection. You don't have to say, "Oh, I don't look good." Another
But it
one
would
with
be that's him though, because that's Teddy. You know what I mean?
exactly. So
He's
so you
glued to me.
kind of go with it. Like not all dogs. Sometimes a dog. I did a shoot once, and it was 2 or 3. I can't remember if there were 2 or 3. I think it was 2. And they were the tree walking coonhounds, and it was in a yard, and those dogs they weren't on a leash. They just wandered. There was no way that they were doing anything other than that, and their person didn't want them to be doing anything other than that. So I'm like, okay, like let's throw out all what I thought I was going to get, and go with following the dogs around, and doing different types. And I wound up getting, again, like really great shots. There was a time where the dog jumped on the fence howling, like, so you just have to be really mindful, and you have to let go of what you thought the shoot was going to be, because the dog's driving the shoot.
Right.
Oh
And
my God,
sometimes
I love
yeah, sometimes the unscripted ones are the best. You know what I mean? Like the unposed ones. I think
Right.
that the candid ones are the best.
Exactly. Mhm.
Yeah, for sure. So talk to me. So I'm losing lighting here. So
Yeah.
talk to me about lighting. Talk to me about a little bit about lighting.
So I am a natural light photographer.
Okay.
Basically, what that means is that I don't shoot in studio. I don't shoot with any off-camera lights.
Oh wow.
But 90% of my shoots are done outside, and I try my hardest to direct the time when they're done,
Mhm.
to get the best light. So those are your classic in the morning, right after sunrise, and in the golden hour at night. But that's not always possible, like sometimes I'm shooting in the middle of the day for whatever reason. I've done spay neuter clinics, or just different things where you can't control the sun. So you're looking for shaded spots. You're looking for not having the sunlight really harsh in their face.
Wow.
So you can even sometimes put something over, or like if you see a canopy, so you need to kind of evaluate your space and look for something that's not that harsh direct sunlight. I
Yeah.
also do many photos inside during the day, which are quite lovely too, and you just want to manage that light source of keeping the animals near a window in a way so you still have some natural light coming in. But it is true, and that's the bane of black dogs, and why we have the black dog syndrome, because their faces are dark, and
Yeah.
you can't see their features. I've done actually I forgot. I've done a few articles on tips for black dogs, but it's the same idea. You want to be sure that they're lit, very well, and then actually they photograph beautifully.
Oh,
When they have
I've seen
the
your
right lighting.
photographs, and they're gorgeous, and I'm sure we would love to see about those tips. You and I, Mindy, are very, very in tune to animal welfare. It's something that is very near and dear to our hearts, and Jessica as well. Talk to us about what you're doing in animal welfare and how very important your work is. That's really important. I want our listeners to know that.
Oh, thank you. Well, on so many levels, the photographs are so important. It sounds super dramatic, but really, we all know the dogs in the shelters. A good photograph is the difference between life and death.
It is.
It's as important as any other thing, because people need people. Not everybody can see a bad picture of a dog and imagine that dog. And also there's a bit of a preconceived that shelter dogs are broken. They're not broken. They've been failed by humans. Those dogs are not broken. They are not there.
That's a great way to put it. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, that is
Right.
excellent. I don't think anybody's ever said that, but that's a great way to say it. They've been failed by humans, not that
They
they're
have.
broken. Yeah.
And if all the dog has is a picture of them dirty and scared in a corner of a cinder block, dimly lit room, they look broken. And people are like, oh, I don't, they can't. It's like when you go into a house, or some people have the ability to like visually say, oh my God, if I move this here and I do this here, that room will be beautiful. Other people can only see what they see. It's just,
I look at it as it's a bad dating profile. You know what I mean? You know how you only meet people on the dating profiles. It's a bad dating profile. They need to update the profile.
Right. Which way you going?
Exactly. Exactly. So it's so important to capture. And then, that's where the patience is, to take some time and give the dogs an opportunity there to decompress a little, to put them in proper lighting, to take a very clearly focused picture. It doesn't have to be from professional photographers. It's just really important. So that's one thing. There are things happening literally all over the world that people don't know about without the photographs.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of work in Mexico. I was just recently in St. Vincent. I've done work in Colombia, and there are people. I like to call it the tale of two cities, because the horrors are horrible, what so many of those animals are going through. But what people also don't know is that there are people that are rescuing and doing so much on their own, and really trying to make a difference and help the dogs. One of the projects that I work on is a spay neuter clinic in Playa del Carmen, and it's a group of people. It's all community helping community, and they have a goal to do monthly spay neuter clinics over 5 years. They did 2022 and 2023. At the end of 2023, and they've since done, I think, 2 more this year. But since that, 8,000 dogs and cats they have spayed.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. That's
They
huge.
make their goal. They will change the landscape of that city. There won't be 40,000 strays. There will be just dogs, that are manageable to care for. And I went there and photographed. And without the photographs, people don't see it. People
They
don't
don't.
know. People don't understand.
Oh,
And the thing about
Mindy.
that is that the people that are coming to those spay neuter clinics are people that own dogs and cats.
Yeah.
And it's culturally very different. And, number one, a lot of times they live in a small house where, 6, 7 people live in one room. So the dogs live outside. And that's acceptable. It's just different. It's
It
just
is.
different. It's not for us to judge. What's what. It doesn't mean that they don't love their animals, because when the photos I could show you show that love. And they are so grateful to be able to get their dog spayed and neutered, because
Oh,
otherwise they couldn't afford it. So it's a story that unfolds because of the photography and the
Right.
storytelling, and so they need donations
they do.
to make, because they're free to the community, but they're not free. It's $6,000 every spay neuter clinic, and they do 400 animals per clinic. And sometimes if they have extra money, they do more. Um, so that's, and I could go on and on with these
Uh, oh,
stories.
I love that, Mindy. I actually got the beauty in 2000. I think it was 2005, 2006. Of being part of an operation called Dawn's Clinic in Tamarindo, and we used to go down there for spay neuter, and it was absolutely beautiful. And the people would come from just all over, and they would pay you in mangoes. They would pay you in and it's like they were just so appreciative
Right.
of that work. They would so beautiful, and people don't know it. And your photographs are bringing that and showcasing that, so they thrive on donations. And if without donations, they
They
can't.
can't
I mean,
exist. They can't unless we help them help others. But why wouldn't we? You know?
yeah,
Right.
agreed. I think it's hard because we look here in the US and we're like, gosh, we got to take care of our own. But we this is a global problem too. So
It is
thank
a
you for
global problem. And I do plenty of work in the States, and I understand there's plenty of need in the States, but the difference is that we have resources to, you know, I mean, we could do more, but we're still doing. That people are aware, and there are organizations that are working at it, but
Right.
not so much in other places.
I
Mhm.
love that, Mindy. Just it's so amazing. I have one more question for you. So what if somebody is looking perhaps to do what you do, and you've inspired somebody through this podcast to become a photographer, or to turn their passion into actually something? What advice would you give them, Mindy, and to make this a career like you have done?
First, I would say start photographing. Don't overthink it. Just start doing it, and start doing it by volunteering at these shelters of those dogs and cats that I said at the start need good photos. And so you're getting practice, they're benefiting, and that's really important. And then just ask your friends, photograph their dogs, and keep oh, there's the squeaker. That's my
I
dog. She's
know.
joining in on the podcast. She opened the door while we were. But get out there and photograph and keep practicing. And now, when I first started, pet photography was really just in its,
Nascent stage. Yeah, nobody was doing it, Mindy.
nobody
No.
was doing it. Now everyone's like, oh, that's a cool job. Let me do that. But there are many more resources available to you. There are online courses you could take.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different things that you can do to start to learn about pet photography. But the most important thing is to create and to just keep shooting. And if you can, do it with the dog, work with shelters, volunteer for events, get out there and just start doing it until you feel that you've reached a point, where you've got a portfolio and you feel confident enough to, start to put together a package and start to charge for that. I look back at my original work and I'm like, wow, I can't believe anybody paid me for that. Like like I have advanced so much from all my studying and photographing and so forth. But you know what? They still thought that was good back then because, you have the right equipment and it was good. But, once you start going down there and getting better and better, you start judging your own work. So, you work like anything else. As you progress, your work will progress, and different opportunities will come up, and you have to be willing to jump in and take these opportunities too.
Yeah. Mindy, thank you for being with us today. If people want to get a hold of you, we're going to have all your links and we're going to have some of your photographs and everything featured. How would they get a hold of you? How would they find you? And if an animal welfare organization wanted to contact you, how would they contact you too?
Email. And so you could just do hello@dogseyemeet.com.
Okay.
And you can reach me that way. My website is dogseyemeet.com. My Instagram is @dogseyemeet, and Facebook. It's a little complicated on Facebook, but I think if you just do Dogs Eye Meet, I'll come up. And in LinkedIn under my name, Mindy Dukta. So I'm pretty accessible and a bit old school. So my phone number is available on those things. I'm always, reachable and happy to talk to people.
Mindy, thank you for being with us. It was such a delight. Keep doing what you're doing. You're helping so many animals, really, and then just bringing them to, helping them get adopted and saving lives, and then also just capturing those beautiful images. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
Wow, I love her. She is so amazing, and she talks a little bit about lighting. Speaking of lighting, I don't know what's happening with my lighting, but
I still got the halo.
Perhaps we need to think about that. I mean, really talk about, our pets and a way to be rewarded through that. I am just blown away by her and what she's doing and how she's really giving for good. For her skills, and it was amazing to have her on with us today.
Yeah, it was fun. I had a good time talking with her today. So
lots of tips and tricks, and then just lots of information. And guys, we'll have some pictures that she's taken on the website. I know she's going to send those to us or on our podcast. And thanks for listening. Jessica, we reached 500 downloads. Is that correct?
Well, by the time this comes out, we're going to have even more. So
exciting.
We're growing.
Who knew? What the heck?
We're funny.
We're almost 500. We're past 500 downloads. That's pretty cool. 2 girls from Chicago. I'm in Florida now, but what the heck?
Right.
Jessica, thank you for being with me today. I adore you. I love you. You're my partner in crime and just my work wife and everything else like that. And
I love you too. We go through life together. We check in every morning. We check in each at night,
At the end of the day.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Guys, thanks for being with us on Pets or Family.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Pets or Family. You can find us on all the channels now. Yes, all the channels now. So make sure you share us with your friends, your families, and your coworkers, and anybody that has a pet. Make sure you like us, give us your feedback, tell us if anything that you want us to talk about, all that fun stuff. You can reach me at jessica@petsourfamily.net or trisha@petsourfamily.net. Thank you for everything that you guys do, but make sure you like us, subscribe, check us out on YouTube. You can always see what we're up to. And we want to thank all of our sponsors, all of the people that support us. We love every one of you, and we can't thank you enough. And remember, check out Moose's March, moosesmarch.com, moosesmarch.com. Come check us out. Talk to you guys soon. We'll see you next week. Bye.